In order to empower our young heroes, we must recognize first that we ourselves are heroes. We all have the power to be a hero to someone in some way. I can prove that. I want you guys to turn to your partner in 20 seconds, turn to a partner and share with one person somebody that was a hero to you growing up. 20 seconds. Who was the hero and why? Just very quickly. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You see, we all have someone that was a hero to us growing up, and it was important that we had heroes. And it's important that you recognize that you yourself are a hero. Can I have the next slide, please? There are going to be 5 steps to finding the hero in you. And we're going to base this kind of loosely off of Superman. And so all of you have been given some Superman trivia sheet. And I want you to fill that out. There are only 5 questions. I want to see if you can fill it out in less than a minute. Do you think you can do that? Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's fill out our Superman trivia. Everybody, there should be enough for everyone. Raise your hand if you did not get one, or you could just share with a partner, it's fine. All right, so are we done? 1 minute? All right, I'm going to give you guys about 20 more seconds. Don't overthink it. We got a lot of other more important things to cover. It's okay if you don't pass the Superman trivia test. I promise you I won't judge you. I might even think more highly of you if you don't pass the Superman trivia contest. All right. Let's go over the answers quickly. Number 1, where was Superman born? Who said Detroit? Very good, Sue. Very good, Joyce. Detroit is where Superman was born. Number 2, who is Superman's girlfriend from youth? Lois Lane was his girlfriend as an adult. Lana Lang was his girlfriend as youth. Number 3, which is not a Superman power? Shrinking, flight, super cold breath, or super speed? If you put shrinking, you are correct. Number 4, that's all mixed up. What can kill Superman? Green kryptonite. A is the answer again. And Superman's fortress of solitude is hidden in the North Pole. Where else does he have a fortress? The answer is South America. So Superman probably has his fortress of solitude at opposite ends of the pole, I'm assuming. All right. So let's go to finding the hero in you. 1 Peter 4:10 says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Number 1 is recognize your superpowers. You have been charged as superheroes to share and recognize that you have super strengths and super abilities and super talents. I want you to take the S that has been handed out to you, and I would like for you to write some of your strengths in the S, but your biggest strength, I want you to write, for example, if you are queen at administration, I want you to write administration woman. If you are an expert in social media, I want you to write social media man. Instead of Superman, it'll be social media man. So name your number one strength and put it at the top of your page. And then you can put a lot of your other abilities and strengths inside the S. So let's take a few minutes to do that. Don't be modest. We know that we have some talented administrators here, talented leaders here. Okay, we're ready. I know we could go on and on because we've been given so many God-given talents. But I want to make mention of something. As you guys are using your gifts and talents, make sure that you know, unlike the superheroes that are fictional, where your talents and gifts are coming from. And who you need to go to get those gifts and talents and to ask for those gifts and talents. That is part of being a Christian superhero. The Holy Spirit is the one that gives us those gifts. And if you ever are in doubt of what your talent really is, like what that number one talent is, I like to tell this story of my annoying third grade school pal. His name was Brian. And Brian would always make sounds in class. He would never let me listen. He sat right behind me. He would never let me listen in class because he was always going, yeah, pew, pew. If he was lucky enough, he had some toy cars. Yeah, pew, pew, pew. Brian, please, can you stop? Well, I went to school with Brian from, probably second grade all the way to 8th grade. And it was always the same thing with Brian. Well, I want you guys to know that today he's a sound engineer he was working for DreamWorks Studio. And so he was making all these major pictures and cartoons with his sounds that he made when he was a kid. Sometimes we look at kids and we're thinking, what does he have there? What is he doing? Why is he doing that? We may not know that one thing that seems annoying or seems kind of odd or weird is that one superpower that God has given this child to make the world a better place. So I just wanted to encourage you all as you're thinking about how to empower yourselves and others. It doesn't matter. Don't be ashamed if one of your superpowers is a little quirky and weird, because that may be the one thing that God uses to really bring about change. So I want you to stand up, and I want you to introduce yourselves to 3 people quickly, and then come back and sit down. As soon as you're done that, you are going to introduce yourself as, hello, I am creative woman, or I am administration man. You guys ready? Let's do it. Take your pictures with you. Take your S's with you. You need your emblems. Okay, go back to your seats. We have the sheet. Okay. All right. I'm so happy you're excited about your superpowers. Take your superpowers back to your seats. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So step number 1 to finding the hero in you is recognize your superpowers. Let's go to step 2. Step 2, we talked about that one thing that could kill Superman. What was it? Know your kryptonite. I'm telling you, it worked for Superman. It's going to work for you. Know your kryptonite. Know and understand what is that one thing that might kill your ministry, or those several things that might kill your ministry. Know your weaknesses. Please, 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 even over know your weaknesses, know your limitations. Some of you have been given more than one job description, and you're wearing so many hats, and there's a lot of expectations put on your shoulders. And even though in the job description it says you have to do this, that, and the other, it's up to you to recognize, okay, I know what my strengths are. I've got to recognize what my kryptonite is, or my weakness, or my limitation is, because that way when you do, guess what? There are anxious people waiting to help assist you in your ministry. Where you are weak, they are strong. Superman wasn't super in everything. He could only fly really fast, and what else? He had ice breath. He only had 2 talents. He didn't do it all. Okay, maybe 4. He had 4 talents, but what I'm saying, he was not the cure-all, end-all, and we can't be that. You have to outsource what your weaknesses is. And there's a verse that says, but he said unto me, 2 Corinthians 12:9, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. That is 2 Corinthians 12:9. Okay, so I want you guys to, there are some packets of lights of kryptonite on your tables. I want you to open them up, shake it up, open up, crack it. You have to bend it to get it to work. We're going to turn off the lights, and I want you guys to go around in a circle in your table, and I want you to talk about what your kryptonite might be. Your weakness, your limitation, what would that look like? All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lights back on. Don't forget to recognize your superpowers, but also know your kryptonite and know your limitations. Let's go to step number 3. I know you guys are really excited about the lights. We all get excited about the little lights. We know we're kids at heart, but we have to go on to the next thing. Next slide, please. Help me with the next slide, everyone. The next slide says what? Leap off of tall buildings. I'm imagining, if I can have your attention, imagine you are on the top of a 30, 40-story building and someone needs your help. What do you do? Well, if it's me, I find the best, safest route to get off of that building, and I will pray for that person once I get to safety because I am petrified of heights. But what would a superhero do? Superheroes, especially Superman, they bound over the tallest buildings and the tallest skyscraper. A superhero sees the challenge ahead and is not afraid to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Don't be afraid to do big things in the name of the Lord. Don't be afraid to take risks, because if you are just a regular worker in ministry, that's fine. Just play it safe. But if you are willing to be a superhero for God, you will not be afraid to take risks. And taking risks may mean some people don't like you. It may mean that some people might try to attack what you're doing. It may mean that you may get into trouble. But don't be afraid to dream big. Matthew 14:29. And Jesus said, "Come." So Peter simply got out of the boat and simply walked on water and came to Jesus. It was just that simple. When he had his eyes on who? When you have your eyes on Jesus, those kind of miracles are available to us. Do you believe that today? You believe that we can walk on water, literally, if it's his will, if he's guiding it, if he's inviting it. Yes, we can do big things. Don't be afraid to do big things. Hubert, about 2 years ago, decided he was going to dream big and that he was going to have the first children's ministries training union-wide, and he didn't know how he was going to do it. But you know what? He moved forward in Jesus' name because God had given him that vision, and it all worked out. I mean, we left him a little bit in debt for the first time in his ministry, but it was amazing. It was amazing. One of my other heroes in ministry is my husband. And my husband dreams very big. And yes, he gets himself into trouble sometimes, budget-wise as well. When he took on this, he asked to take on, in addition to youth ministries, my husband asked to take over the department for children's ministries because nothing was being done. So he asked to have another, what's the word in English? Thank you, responsibility added onto his plate because he saw the need. And the very first thing he said to me was something that I have never heard any other conference director say. They might have done it. But he said, "I'm going to buy VBS kits for all of my churches, free of charge, courtesy of the conference, Arizona conference." And I said, "Honey, you can't do that." "Why?" "Because it's never been done. We don't do that. I don't know how we do it, but we just, we ask the churches to buy their own kits." He said, "Well, I'm going to do it different." "Where are you going to get the money? You don't even have a children's ministries budget." "I don't know. I'll figure it out." He dreams big all the time. And then the next phrase he said, well, VBS is evangelism. I'm going to ask the evangelistic department. Dream big. Who cares if you don't have the budget? Dream first and then figure out. With God's help, he will take care of the details. All right, so we are going to now leap. We're going to take our little frogs, pass out. Everybody should have a little frog there, and you can do a little practice. But you are going to try to leap at the count of 3. Put a cup near all of you all that doesn't have water or anything in it. You all are going to try to leap your frogs inside of the cup or the mug that hasn't been used yet, please. You will be given 1 minute to do it, and the team that has the most frogs in their cup is going to be the superhero team. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yay! How many frogs do we have? 1. Stand up, team, if you got at least one superhero in your leaping over tall buildings. Guess what? You all are winners because it says leap over tall buildings. It doesn't say leap into, so you all were jumping and you all were leaping. So you all are winners. Give yourselves a hand. All right, if I can have your attention, I need your help in reading step number 4 for finding the hero in you. Step number 4, we're going to say it in a very calm and sleepy kind of way. Are you ready? Number 4 says, take time to re-energize. Very good. You know, Superman, even a fictional character, had what you call a fortress of solitude. And he was fictional. He had one where, according to our facts? He had one in the North Pole and one in South America. That's not bad. You had one in a cold place and maybe one in a hotter place. And it looked something like this in comic books. It was made out of crystals. So I imagine that that place of solitude had a very calming effect, like the music that's getting ready to play right now. And it is important for us as leaders to recharge, energize, re-energize in retreats like this, or you will quickly burn out and use up all your superpowers and you won't have anything to give back. It is important, the recharge and the re-energize is important to recharge mentally. It's important to recharge physically because some of us are just so exhausted we can't keep our heads up. And most importantly, we need to take the time to recharge spiritually. So I want you to take the crystal that is in the cup. Each person should have a crystal. And I want you to think about where you recharge. What is your fortress of solitude? How do you spend that time reconnecting and recharging? Share that quietly in your group. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I need all the calming eyes up front, please. Thank you so very much. This has been our calming and recharge time. And before we go on to the last slide, I want to make mention that Superman was a fictional character and he went to the fortress of solitude. But Jesus was our real and our biggest and our best superhero. And he really did take time to go to his fortress of solitude. Where were some of the places that Jesus went? The Garden of Gethsemane. Where else did he sometimes go? In the sea. Sometimes he had to find it wherever. Sometimes life is not going to wait for you to go to South America or to come to Ontario. Sometimes you just got to find it, on the way to somewhere. Okay, I'm on the way. Let me just take a quick, cat nap, detour, what have you. So sometimes you're not always going to have it in a designated place. But please make sure that you take that time to recharge and re-energize and reconnect. Luke 5:16 says, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and he prayed." And I hope that would be your one of your principal objectives, praying when you go into solitude. And let's go to our last slide. Our last slide says, what? Share your superpowers. Don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to mentor someone because they might be better than you or they might learn more than you or no, this is my job. They gave it to me. Because when something happens to you, who is that next person that's going to be able to take the reins and move forward? Don't be afraid to mentor someone and sharing your superpowers. I want you to do a quick activity. This will be our last activity for this portion of our Finding the Hero in You. There are some labels in a cup. Everybody needs to have one label and one cup. And you're going to put in your label, you're going to put your biggest strength and put that label, stick that label onto the outside of your cup. Your biggest strength or your biggest gift that you think you have. While we're waiting, I want to read you this power verse. 2 Timothy 2:2 says, "The things which you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust these to faithful men who will be able to teach also." The Bible encourages us to share so that they can teach and they can be empowered as well. I want you to take your cup and I want you to share your superpower that has been given to you by God. And I want you to share that cup with a complete stranger. Hug that person and say, "I am sharing my superpower with you." That person cannot be in your group. Nope, you got to share it and you got to mentor with someone away from your group. And then come back to your seat because you should have that other person's cup as well. You're exchanging cups. Robin, you're next. You ready? Yes. You're going to do it. Okay. When you get back, add your super strength to the other person's cup. Add your super strength to the other person's cup. Write your super strength to the other person's cup so you'll have two super strengths, one from your partner and the one that's already yours. So you just traded cups, right? Now you're going to add your super strength there. Okay, so put an initial by yours. Because there's organization, but people organize in different ways. All right, this is not the end because we have one last thing to do. We have to hurry up with this one. Guys, it's just an exchange of cups and moving on. Pass the cup and move on. Teams, get together. Here's where the power in this activity lies. You come back, you've mentored someone, you shared your gift with them, and you're going to write your gift with theirs on that same cup. Because your gift is your gift. But did you know that when you mentor, you also learn from the person that you're mentoring? So now instead of having one superpower, now you've got two superpower. And now you come back to your team, you've come back to your church, and now you guys are going to create something beautiful with your cups. And you have other members of your church as well, and they have superpowers. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to create a design with your cups. You can staple, everybody has a staple. You can staple your cups together to make that design so you can hold it up. It could be a heart, it could be a flower, it could be a person. Whatever you want to do, create and make something beautiful with your superpowers. All right. What do you guys have back there? What is it? A power plant? Flower arrangement. Let's give them a hand. Glows in the dark. Wow, that's... All right, who else wants to expo? What do you guys have? A star. Anybody else want to expo? Yes. Okay, I'm done. A cape, very good. One more. Chain. Time machine. Okay, listen to this, guys. You mentored someone, you learned from your person you were mentoring from, and then you brought it back to a team, and you made something beautiful out of it. And then we have many superheroes doing God's work because of it. So I just want to leave this with you all. Find the hero in you before you empower others.